Thanks for joining us for our Chamber Connection podcast. Thanks to our friends at Speakeasy, we are here for the next 52 weeks, bringing you guests from around our community, elected officials, business owners, folks doing great work here in Macomb County. So sit back, take a listen, and we hope you'll join us every week for our Chamber Connection. Welcome! My name is Stacy Ziarko, and I am the president and CEO of the Sterling Heights Regional Chamber of Commerce. This is our inaugural podcast. This is definitely a great adventure for the Sterling Heights Chamber. And my first guest is one of my very favorite people, our program and events manager, Tom Whitaker.
Wow. So kind of you, Stacy. I can't believe we have a podcast. This is exciting.
I can't believe we have a podcast either. Apparently we're quite funny, and so we are deserved of this show. So we're really looking forward to spending the next year with our podcast of bringing information about our members, about our events, about our chamber, what makes us different. I always joke that I have not listened to a podcast before, and here we are hosting one for our chamber. So, again, we just look for ways for the Sterling Heights Regional Chamber to help our members stand out. And I hope that this podcast is a way that we can do it.
I'm hoping with our friends here at Speakeasy who are kind of helping us along, and my long commute, I listen to enough podcasts for the both of us. So maybe with that, we'll be able to get something effective here.
So what you're telling me is you're an expert at podcasts.
That's not. Maybe our friends here at Speakeasy, but not me.
Weren't you a part of a podcast before?
We did. I work for a bar trivia company on the side because who doesn't have multiple jobs these days?
Side hustle.
And yeah, we tried a podcast for a little while. I always wanted to include more trivia, and we never did. So maybe because it was a trivia podcast without trivia and it didn't get off the ground. But
it's ironic how that might have worked.
Right. So with a chamber podcast, we're going to have to at least talk about the chamber a little bit, right?
I think that's what we're here for today.
I think maybe we should kind of, the inaugural episode, maybe we should lay the groundwork for what are we going to talk about here? And maybe we can start with, you're going to be better at this than I am, but what are we? Like, can we define the chamber?
Well, to tell you a little bit about the Sterling Heights Regional Chamber, we just celebrated our 60th birthday. And we have, been in Utica and Sterling Heights our whole entire identity. And so over the last couple of years, we've really taken on a regional approach. So while Sterling Heights is in our name, we have members from all over Macomb County and even some from Oakland County and Wayne County. We really service, Sterling Heights, Utica, Clinton Township, Macomb Township, and Shelby Township. We have friends and members in all of those communities. We have over 1,000 members. So, what do? Our chamber mission is that we, are creating meaningful connections through our community of members. And what we really like to think of is that we are building community as a chamber. And so that's really what we do. So if you can create a community, whether it's independent business owners, whether it's women's business owners, whether it's manufacturers, hospitality, we are building that community.
Yeah, it's there's so many. I didn't really know much about the chamber until you brought me on as part of the team back in April.
And you wonder why you're my favorite.
And there's it's so much deeper than just. I think a lot of people think just networking events from time to time. Well, although we have plenty of great networking events, I shouldn't downplay that. That's my job. While we have so much of that, there's really a lot of tiers and different programs and different places for people to get involved in different stages of their career.
So I think the biggest thing, first of all, we are no secret, we're a membership-based organization. So there's a membership fee to join our organization based on your industry type. That being said, we know that the people that get the most out of their chamber membership, the most bang for that investment, are the ones that are able to put the most into it. So, we encourage people, we will hear all the time, I want to sign up for the chamber. Maybe my business is struggling. Maybe my business is new, but we want to help you grow. I always say, we don't want you just to open a business in Macomb County. We want you to stay in business in Macomb County, and we want to be a part of that. But we also want to help, you also need to put some skin in the game too. And so we hope that you would consider attending our events, interacting with our staff. I say all the time, our chamber staff is one of the best that there is, Tom, you included. Maybe one of these days we'll get our friend Terry on our podcast too.
Yeah, I think it'd be great to have Terry here.
Terry is our office and finance administrator. We left her back at the office today, but we promise we'll bring her in here another time. And so we want you to know our staff. We want our staff to be able to help you. Are you hiring? Do you need help? Who isn't needing help hiring right now? But attend our events. Meet people. We have great chamber ambassadors that are going to help you kind of integrate into what we do. They're going to visit you. They're going to tell you about our new events. We also have programs. We have a Women's Business Alliance. If you are a woman in business of any kind, we want to help you grow in those roles. Or if maybe it's even finding your next role. We're really taking 2022 as the year to engage our young professionals. Those folks that, might have been new to an office at the start of the pandemic and might still be working remotely and need help with some of those networking skills. Some people might have changed jobs, grown a business, opened their own business in this pandemic. How can we help those that are, between the ages of 21 and 40? I was informed I am no longer a young professional, but, how can we help those folks new in their career grow and understand the value of being a part of a group and a networking group? We also have our ambassadors, our board of directors. There's lots of ways to engage the chamber. And our team is here to help you do that.
Yeah, I think kind of, talk me through, when you first join the chamber, it goes from the ribbon cutting and just how do I maximize it from that first meeting when I decide, I want to join the chamber?
I think it's figuring out what your priority is. Are you a new business? Are you a business that is, you've changed, you've pivoted during the pandemic? What's your goal? Is your goal that, you want to franchise and have 10 locations in the next 10 years? Is it that you need a new book of business? If it's, you're looking for new clients, if you're in insurance, if you're an attorney, it's figuring out what your priority is. Could be marketing, and that's where we're here to help too. And I think it's overwhelming to join something like the Sterling Heights Chamber because we're a pretty large group. One of the largest chambers in the state. And so I think the first thing is that figuring out what the priority is. Once we cut your ribbon, if you're a restaurant and you want to get people in your door to try your food, I think that it is working on figuring out your member profile, utilizing that resource that's there for you. I used the example a couple weeks ago, a chamber member called and says, I need to change my locks at a commercial business. Do you know someone? One of our members had updated their profile to say that not only they did residential rekeying, they did commercial rekeying. That business got what they needed just by searching our directory, but that member took the time to add that information in there. I think that's an easy one. Put your logo attached to your chamber membership. And then help us with we have a newsletter that goes out every other week that Tom creates called our Chamber Connection.
Well, we're passing that off to our brand new marketing intern. So I'll oversee, but Emmy's not off the hook on that one.
All right. Sorry, Emmy. Apparently the Chamber Connection falls to you. But our new members have the opportunity to put stuff in our newsletter. Do you have an open house, a grand opening? Is there a special? Is there a promotion? Are you a catering company that's got a Super Bowl promotion coming up? But communicate with us. Let us know what's going on in your business so that we can help share it on social media. I always tell our members often, if they've got something, tag us in your social media post. Start with liking our Facebook page. Follow us on Instagram. And that way we can also share your information there too. But there's a lot to do in order to, we want to help. I keep thinking that, we just want to be a good partner for you.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest thing. I mean, you've touched on so much. It's for me, it's you get out what you put in. Some of our members who have been members for a very long time, they don't come to as much stuff. They're known of, but not really on that first name basis. Where some of our brand new members who attend everything, it seems you can't escape them, and they've just really kind of ingrained themselves in. So by coming to our events, by interacting online, it's that 1,000 member community isn't as big as it feels. You really get to know everybody.
Well, I was going to say, it sounds daunting to say like, oh my gosh, I'm going to join a chamber with 1,000 members. But you really find your own niche of people within the chamber too. We have, people we know that we will see at every event, and we are grateful for them. They've been members for 20, 30, 40, some even 60 years. Our database doesn't go back 60 years, so we'll just say 40. But we know that people are there. And some of our members say, hey, they've done so well in their business. They know that they're a part of the chamber because it's a good thing to be a part of for the community. But hey, right now, they're so busy that they can't grow anymore. They can't facilitate what they need to do. But they know that, we like being a part of the chamber. The chamber's offered us something in the past. And so I think that Tom's right. The more you engage, the more you get to know us, the more we get to know you. And that way, if we have an event, we, have done an event in the past where we focused on cybersecurity. And it was because of a conversation with a member that we knew that was an important topic to talk about with other small business owners. So the more we know about you, the more we can also engage you in those events and those projects that we do.
Well, and not even, not even just to attend the events as much as we want you to come to all.
Oh, yes.
But to be part of it. We just wrapped up our small business symposium, where it was just kind of a one-day masterclass, crash course on just some basic topics that you might not have thought of. We had the keynote from Brian Calley, but then it allowed an opportunity for our members to get up there and present. Mm-hmm. So, it's not only are you learning, but you've got the opportunity to connect with other people and prove that, you're an expert in this field. So, if I had a question, we had our friend Leon came up and spoke from
LCMS Solutions.
You know that better. But we love him. But Leon came up and had a great presentation on, how to do a great, simple website. You might then be sitting in the crowd and go, I'm going to reach out to him directly with some further questions. So
I think what I loved during that event was that I turned around at one point and I looked at the audience was all taking notes. And so it was this really great peer-to-peer learning concept of there are things that, I'll say me personally, that I'm an expert in. And then there's other things that I'm very, ask Tom, I say this all the time, that's not my wheelhouse. That's not something I know. And so you surround yourself by people that are smarter than you and better than you. And you learn something from every person that comes to us. I think that was the best part, is watching people learn from each other. And there was networking. I mean, there were people that, had never been to a chamber event before, or it was their first event post-pandemic. We were just kind of starting to see there's a couple folks that I haven't seen in 2 years because they haven't been able to attend something in person. So I think, we all have to remember how to do those social situations. I told Tom I had 3 big events last week, and by Friday I was tired.
This is a lot.
It was a lot. I couldn't do it anymore.
I think, especially kind of focusing on that COVID, we've done a careful job of trying to make sure that our events, we're not forcing it, but obviously a lot of this business needs to be done face to face. An event like the Small Business Symposium, you really kind of had to be there. So a lot of what we learned in 2021 has helped us make these easy kind of step back events where, we're kind of getting back into it. It's not 1,000 people in a conference hall. It's not overwhelming. We've still got some COVID precautions, and we can kind of ease people back into those events.
And I think part of it, Tom and I talked last week that, had there been 1,000 people in a room, we would have been, a little bit, taken back. So I think if we can keep engaging folks where they are and where we are, we've got a lot on our schedule for the year. Some of it's, really fun, and we'll see y'all at Sterling Fest 2022.
I was going to say, you're just new at podcasting, but that in the business is what we call a tease.
See?
That was nice.
Did I slide that in?
So that's a great segue. Why don't you talk about some of the events, the different kinds of events that we have?
I like to think that we have an event for everyone. Whatever your interest is, whatever time of day you can come, we really do have events for everyone. So we have, some community events where they're really educational. Our community leaders breakfast, where we gather the 5 community leaders of the municipalities that we primarily work with. We ask them, what's coming up this year? What do you have that's exciting? What's new? What sets your community apart? And if there's anything these community leaders like to brag about, it's their own, township, city. And they love that. And so that's one of our upcoming events this summer. We have the economic forecast, looking at the state of the economy in the Macomb County area. What makes us different? Is it the manufacturing? Is it the defense industry? Is it our small businesses? I learned a statistic the other day that 95% of the businesses within Macomb County are classified as a small business. And so that is, almost all of us. We also have our Patios and Pints beer series, which I know is Tom's favorite.
Now we're getting into the fun events.
Do you want to talk about that one?
Now, I mean, you're on quite a roll, but yeah.
I'll let you jump in.
Patios and Pints is, we've got, I'd say there's like different groups. We've got our like hardcore networkers, who are in their brag groups every week, working on their ask. And then we've kind of got maybe the social networkers who love.
I was going to say the party animals, so social networkers sounds great.
Party animals, they're synonymous. But we've got our Patios and Pints series, which we run in conjunction with the Dodge Park Farmers Market. Every Thursday they've got the farmers market that starts and a concert that kind of rounds the evening out. But we're just across the street with Michigan Craft Beer. And, last year it was kind of a new look, from 2020. We won't talk about that. But last year was kind of a new look, and I think we learned a lot, and we had some really, really nice crowds out there where you can kind of come out, meet the community, but it's not in that high pressure, let me exchange my business card and let me give you my elevator pitch. You can really just kind of network with people organically. You might even just say making friends. But that's what I really like about the Patios and Pints. So we do that every Thursday. Except the last Thursday in July.
Because that's we're busy. We're very
but
busy.
We do that every Thursday night from the Upton House right across the street from Dodge Park. So I definitely look forward to that.
I think the best part about that is we made new friends out there throughout the course of the summer. As people came out, and we saw a lot of the same faces, a lot of the same dogs. We got very familiar with a lot of our friends. In fairness, my friends came out, I think, every Thursday. But, people wanted to have fun, and it was a way to engage folks. And, a lot of them were trying new craft Michigan beers that they had never had before.
It's also, from somebody who, my background isn't in kind of business connections and networking. And so it's very new to me.
This is your background.
This is much more my background. But, I think of somebody like, brand new board member Kalichi, who, kind of started coming to Patios and Pints just as like what's going on?
I live down the street.
Like, what's going on? This looks fun. And then that has kind of led all the way up to, he was featured in the State of the City presentation, and now he's on our board. So it just kind of shows how those like light organic events can really grow into major career moves and just over,
short amount of time.
A couple nice Michigan craft beers.
So we hope for good weather every Thursday. So if you are looking for something to do, we hope you come out and see us. We do still also have our traditional networking events. We do an After 5, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a social event in the evening, no pressure, no presentation, just come and meet new people. And then we also do our business and breakfast, which is for those that maybe can't come after work. They've got kids to pick up. There's softball practice, baseball practice, soccer practice, whatever that might be. Maybe the mornings are better. And so we do both of those on a, quarterly basis to engage our membership. I think we're realizing that's the human connection is something we've all missed over the last 2 years. So I anticipate that we will see more of those. Like I said, another one of our biggest areas that we're hoping to grow is our young professionals, and really kind of hoping to do both fun and educational opportunities for that age group. One of our most dedicated programs at the Chamber, I think is turning 23 this year, is our BRAG groups, and that stands for Business Resource Alliance Group. And it really is it's a personal referral based organization. We have 10 of these groups. We're trying to form an 11th. And we have 10 groups that they meet weekly. And it is, I hate to say it, there is a requirement to meet weekly and share referrals. If you, in your groups as a real estate agent and a financial planner and a mortgage guy and an insurance salesperson, there's also going to be, maybe someone that works at a bank, maybe someone that runs a wine store, maybe someone that, is a forager and sharpens knife blades.
I think you've got Big Don who runs the balloon company.
Animal. We've got, everything from physical therapists to chiropractors. Yeah. And what's great, I sat in on a BRAG meeting probably last fall, and they were explaining that someone new was moving to Michigan, and it was somebody's cousin that was in the BRAG group. And from that BRAG group, they found a real estate agent, a mortgage broker, a church, and there were like 5 other things that came out of just that group of 20 people. We've got openings in those groups, so we love to fill our BRAG groups. They're some of our most dedicated and loyal chamber members that we have, and we can only hope that program sticks around for another 23 years and evolves. They have not stopped meeting since March of 2020, which is awesome, and they've continued to share business and make money, which is what all of our chamber members want to do.
Yeah, and talk about flexibility, being able to jump to Zoom and then get back in person and then make a hybrid option and then jump back to Zoom. And it just shows, how kind of dedicated those groups are and how successful they must be, because you wouldn't keep doing it. You wouldn't bend over backwards for it year after year if It didn't make sense.
If it didn't make sense, we talk to one of our real estate agents all the time, and she refers someone when she, sells a new house. She tells them she's got a carpet cleaner. She tells them she's got a blind cleaner, air duct cleaning, which I'm using in my own house this week. So it's all of those things. Nothing's better than me saying to Tom, hey, I know a guy that can help you. And Tom says, oh, well, if Stacy likes him, I'm going to like him too. So I think that's what we do. The chamber does that. I jokingly call myself a corporate matchmaker. That we try to, when someone says, I need and I say, hold on, let me find them for you. Because that's what our chamber does, is we bring people together.
Yeah, and it's brings us back to we haven't really touched on it, but our
mission statement.
Not the mission statement, but our brand new CRM,
yes.
the website, our brand new database. We've, a lot of times you just go onto Google and you don't know what you're going to get. When you kind of look through our database, you see a lot of these people who've been vetted, who know us at the chamber. Okay. And if you have a question, you could call, you could look up, hey, I see this guy's in your directory. How is he? And we can tell you, oh, well, I know exactly who's worked with them, and here's a project that they've done. So it kind of makes a warm opening instead of just, hi, I need help.
A week doesn't go by that some chamber member's not reaching out to Tom or myself saying, do you know someone that does screen printing? Do you know someone that does catering? Do you know someone that any list of things that we can share with?
We do.
And that's part of what we're here for, is to share those businesses, to share those. We have a lot of unique chamber members that are part of our organization that we love to showcase and love to talk about what they're doing.
And that's going to lead in, again, directly. You're good at this.
Thanks.
But let's...
Day one. I got this down pat.
What should they... as a listener, why should I listen to this podcast? What's coming up? What are we going to expect to hear from this? Is it just going to be me and you talking every day? Because this is kind of fun.
I don't think anyone would mind.
Okay.
Maybe they could spend about 10 minutes into the office. We do laugh a lot at work.
Sure.
It's good to work with fun people. I think that the thing is that we want to showcase our members.
Yeah.
And we want to showcase their impact in our community. But we also, all of our members and whoever, comes in has a personal side. Why they do what they do. Is it because, they're a working mom of 2 kids and this is their way to give back? Are they new to the community and we're looking for a way to engage? Do they run a nonprofit and are looking to, talk a little bit about the work that group's done in the community for 40 years? But it's also going to have that personal component too, so that you get to know our members, not only for their business, but who they are. I think there's an I come from a background in fundraising and raising money. I've been doing it a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And they always say people give to people and not just to causes.
Yeah.
And so if I know a guy that sells cars and I feel comfortable calling my friend Jim and saying, I need to buy a new car, that's how this works, is you make meaningful personal connections. And I'm hoping that by our podcast, we help you make those meaningful connections with our entire member database. I
think also you're going to be able to hear somebody's story and kind of relate that back to how can I use this to benefit my own life. I'm in a certain in a situation, what has this person done with the chamber? Like, what are some things that I can replicate to help grow my business?
Right. And I think the other thing too is, so many of us can be in a transitional state right now. Maybe you are changing jobs, changing industries. And I think we're going to learn from some of our chamber members how they got where they are and maybe the transitions that they took to get there. So I think we look forward to this. I think the biggest thing is that we are looking forward to highlighting those members and the folks that make us the chamber that we are. We're a lot of fun, but we also, support a lot of businesses throughout the county.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
And, I think one of the biggest things is that we'll hear Tom and I talk about over the next couple months is our strategic plan. And the joke is, who are we going to be when we grow up? Because apparently 60 is not old.
No.
So we got a long way to go. And, we want to bring you, our listeners and our friends along for the ride.
Yeah, it's, definitely the podcast is a new way to step in.
It is. And so I promise by the time you all listen to this, I will listen to someone else's podcast. So if you've got good ones, send them my way.
I think today we might have to listen to a couple on the way back.
All right, sounds
just to bring you up. There's some good ones.
Well, I hope that you have enjoyed listening and talking with Tom and I today. You get a feel for what it's daily like in the chamber office. But we look forward to sharing our membership with you. We look forward to continuing, to hear from you. And we will see you all the next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Chamber Connection. Be sure to check out information on the Sterling Heights Regional Chamber of Commerce website, our Facebook page, Instagram, and LinkedIn, We look forward to you connecting with us and tuning in next week.